Take one.
The pass the pins around as they're done with them. Yeah. These consent forms are really just for the assignment. It's not really a big legal thing.
Should pass these around too.
Yeah, they'll use those eventually. We'll get to that question with that. They're all the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Stressed.
That's fine.
Here, over here.
I hope this thing doesn't die.
Take one of that.
It's not there.
Well, then we're screwed. A pen? Do they have pen? I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
I think they're just passing. There's two.
Here, you can borrow this one now.
Never end.
I'm reading them all.
No.
That's
Zoom compound. I'm gonna really start to turn it off.
You guys know.
And I don't know any of those.
Can I just do everything?
Hey, if nobody needs that pen cap, how's that?
My name is Pen.
They just talk here too.
Okay,
I
cool.
guess I can do that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no.
Oh.
Yeah, mine's
Huh?
Whatever.
Are we waiting for them to finish?
Gotta nail this project.
What's it do?
Next week.
Actually, one. I'll just do it.
Okay. Alright, well you guys are finishing that up, we'll just get started. As introduce you all of us, because each of you know one or the other or whatever. I'm Ira, this is Jake, Griffin, Will, and Sam. We're conducting this focus group to do some study on the iPhone and how it can improve or how it can stay the same based on your opinions for our class Research Methods at Oklahoma State University. To get us started off, we'll do a little icebreaker. We'll go around the table and just share with us when using the facilities, the latrine, the John, if you will. Do you crumple or fold the toilet paper?
This is real.
Alright. Doesn't matter where we start, whoever's the most comfortable with just putting themselves out there. Alright, and then we'll just go that way. We'll go counterclockwise.
My name is Colin Foreman, and I fold very neatly.
Oh, my name's Elise Heigl, and I fold it neatly, I guess. I notch up the lines. Like,
Alright.
actually, yeah.
I'm Daniel Yowzi, and I'll be the first to admit I'm a crumbler.
Yeah, I second that. I'm a crumbler.
What's your name?
Oh. Greg Davis.
I'm Faithful Williams and I fold. I'm Emma Atchison and I have no idea. I don't pay attention. I know. I'm Elizabeth Bauer and I don't care about
So you front
fold or crumple
Yeah.
or
Depends on the
whatever.
day, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on
I'm a
there?
bare hand. I love my environment.
Kim Laurel and I probably crumble.
Alright, so now that we got that, the ice broken on that, we'll move on to the seriousness.
Awkward atmosphere.
Yeah, oh, this is super awkward. That's the way we roll. This focus group is made up of people 18 to 24. Whether if you've had experience with the iPhone, whether you own one now or you've had one in the past. And we just want to get your opinions on that, on the usage of it and how you felt about it and whether it's good or bad, those kind of things.
And just to kind of like reiterate too, this is obviously a research project. It's not like a legit thing. So there aren't any sales involved. We're not going to be selling you guys anything. Obviously we are recording the session, so y'all.
Is it on
can
right
see.
now?
Yes, it is going right now.
Don't
I fall in pressure.
The only person who'll really look at this is our professor. Hi, Professor Ken.
We just have a couple of rules just to kind of help guide the conversation. And the first one is that we just ask that one person to just speak at a time so we can be able to gather as much data as possible. And right now we're just going to be on a first name basis, but later on the reports we won't have like any of your guys' names, so you guys will be good. You guys have full confidentiality, so just know that you're good. And also just keep in mind that we do we don't welcome, but we're also interested in negative comments as well as positive comments, just because we need to have both sides of the data as well. And that should be it. It should last hopefully about like 45 minutes, so just so you guys know. But yeah, I think Ira's gonna go ahead and start.
Okay. We'll just, like I said, we'll ask the question and just kind of, we'll go around the table and each person will get a chance to answer the question. Go as long or as short as you're comfortable with. Preferably not like one or two word answers, just like a sentence or two. First question is, in a few sentences, describe Apple products such as the way you feel about them. So we'll start with Emma and then go clockwise.
I always kind of think of style, I guess. They're, popular for their look. And their design is pretty consistent with all the new updates. The software, they make changes and everything, but it's pretty much the same.
Okay.
And I like that. I don't like things that change. My turn?
Yeah.
I think I agree with pretty much everything Emma said. I think that they know that they have an image, and so they can charge whatever they want for it and get it. So I don't really like that, but other than that, they do have an image and they hold it up, so.
Okay.
I love Apple products. I feel good about them. I have an Apple computer, a MacBook Pro, an iPhone, and I feel like they're cutting edge, and I like the software. I tried to play a game on it, and I realized it's only for PCs on my MacBook, so that was disappointing a couple years ago. But other than that, pretty cutting edge and everything else. So.
Oh, yeah. I'd say they're decent. Very user friendly. That's probably what I'd say mostly. Again, the design is nice compared to other main brands out there.
I think that I've stuck with mine for so long just because I like that I've had it for so long and I'm used to it. But it gets kind of annoying after a while. Like when they change like the chargers
Yeah.
and stuff, like they're just
Mhm.
changing one thing just to get like a new sale on it. So I've actually been getting more frustrated with Apple, I guess, in the long run.
So you're saying you feel like that they changed the charger so that you have to buy all new accessories and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, and I think
They have a device for everything, and I know they're not going to fail me.
Okay. Yeah, well, based on that, we'll go background and do you all use just the iPhone, or do you all use some other Apple products or other products besides Apple? And if so, what makes you choose one over the other?
My phone is the only Apple product that I own. I've used other Apple products. Their MacBooks are really good, but it doesn't really make a difference to me. They do run a lot smoother, so that's nice. I only have an iPhone, and I haven't used a lot of other Apple products, so I don't have much to say.
Okay.
I have an iPhone, I have a MacBook Pro. My first computer was a MacBook Pro, so I'm not really as familiar with other computers, though I've been on PCs all my life, but they've never been mine, my school's or like my parents. But on the iPhone, like I got it when like smartphones, when the iPhone kind of first came out, and really before any other smartphones started really picking up. Like it's really big now. You know, I mean, the Galaxy, Star Wars stuff. I can't remember the names. So I'm not familiar with the layout at all. So I love Apple, not because I've tried everything else and found Apple to be the best, because it's really what I've been used to.
So it seemed to you that when the iPhone came out, it was pretty much the only smartphone around?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I've got an iPhone and I have an iPad, and I love both of those just for the fact that you can get apps on them. They're a lot easier than Windows phones with all the different tabs, and it gets a little confusing at some points. But that's about it. I don't use like the MacBooks or the desktop software. It's just the basic stuff.
Okay.
I have an iPhone and only an iPhone, and I've had that since smartphones came out too, and I just didn't want to switch, so I just kept upgrading it. And I don't have a MacBook or anything like that. I think they're really overpriced and stuff.
I have a MacBook and an iPhone, and I've used the desktop and the iPad and all that. I don't think it really makes a difference. I think it's just more of I'm familiar with it, and so, I mean, the Galaxy could be better, but I haven't made the switch just because I haven't had any problems with Apple, and to me it keeps getting better and better each one that comes out, so.
Okay.
I have the iPhone and MacBook Pro, and I've had a Galaxy before, but I liked the iPhone much better. I think it's more technologically advanced and cooler, and I think it's easier to work too.
Okay.
I think I've pretty much owned every Apple product that they've had. I've made my way through the first iPod Touch. We have a desktop computer, and I'm on a desktop all the time. I have a MacBook that's a few years old, and I have my iPhone, and I will not use another product other than Apple. It's reliable. I know I can use it anywhere. I know that if I have a problem with it or something like that, I know other people around me can figure it out for me. And I think the most important thing to me is I'm not big on change, and all the Apple products are extremely consistent with one another. So I like being able to go from my iPad to my computer to my home computer to my phone, and the whole system is the same. I don't have to worry about changing anything.
For the next question, what was your first interaction with an iPhone, and which features were appealing to you or kind of drew you into using an iPhone?
I don't remember the first time. It was a long time ago, probably. I know that like with we had kids and smartphones and everything, I was really impressed by the touch screen and just how smooth everything worked, and how easy it was to use. You didn't have to go through a bunch of options to get where you wanted. It was just right there.
How many of y'all remember that early on app, the lightsaber app? People that kind of waved around. That was the first thing I saw from an iPhone.
That was fun.
My first interaction with an iPhone was when my brother got one. I think when they first came out. And the first thing that I remember about it was that it is really easy to use, and I didn't actually have to figure anything out. It was just pretty obvious. And I like the apps. So.
First time, my sister got my phone. I don't know, remember when I first saw an iPhone, but I think what really attracted me to the iPhone was iTunes. I really liked having access to music and on a phone in one, so you have to carry like an MP3 player or whatever and the phone. And that was a big thing for me. So.
Yeah, the first time I saw one was some kid on the bus got one. and he was showing it off to everybody. And he had like a popcorn thing where he was shaking popcorn. It was just blowing my mind. All I had was my Razor at the time. And I was like, he's got a touch screen and 160 songs, holy crap. And so that was the first thing. I was like, I really want one of those.
The first time I got an iPhone, the first one in my family, and I liked it because it had a touchscreen and you couldn't hear the clicking from like I had a Razor before, so they could hear you text in class, and on the touchscreen they couldn't hear you text anymore. So I really liked that. But yeah.
I guess the first time I saw it was, I guess with family or friends, one of those. I first bought one in about 6 or 7 years ago, I guess. I guess what drew me in was, I guess it was something new on the phone market. Like we were venturing into smartphones, and I guess I just wanted to be a part of that. Wanted to be the cool kid that had an iPhone. So.
I first got one whenever Sprint came out with it. And I really liked it because I would always play with my friends, and she had a bunch of cool games and apps and stuff, and I really liked that.
First time I came in counter, I guess. I don't know. With an iPhone, my best friend had gotten one like the day after it had just come out in stores, and we all looked at it, and I loved it. It was so easy. Not the brightest crayon in the box, so it was really simple for me to use. And I liked how it was just everything you needed was on one screen. Instead of having to click multiple buttons, it was one button or one touch, and it was very simple.
Well, going from everyone's first encounter to now, that a lot of time has passed since then. What do you like about your iPhone now? Like, there's the first impression, kind of what you see, but maybe as you've used it, there's something that you've used a lot or you've found very helpful. So after having used it for a while, what is it about the iPhone that you like?
I like that it keeps everything in one place, and I can do pretty much anything on my phone because I've got access to social media and email and pretty much any other form of communication. So yeah, I guess I just like the fact that everything rolls into one.
I like pretty much the same things. It's really easy to use. It's also what I think is important for me with my phone is that I have easy access to email, so I can talk to my professors whenever I need to. And also the texting is really easy, which eliminates the need to call people. So,
I use it mainly for Twitter, and you don't need any phone has Twitter, but I use iPhone for Twitter and listen to music and texting, email, and buy songs from iTunes. There's something called iTunes U, and it's like you can find free, or you can buy some like lectures and stuff from any type of college, from any type of whatever subject it is, and so I like using that, listen to something like that. And I guess that's iTunes U, so I guess that might be specific to iTunes, but yeah, that's why I like it. It's right there in my pocket, and there's never a dull moment because I'm always looking at my phone where I'm at in between class, in class, right before I go to sleep in bed. It's always right there when I wake up and check it. So, and the weather, use the weather a lot. So.
I mean, it's just really easy to use. There's no complicated features or anything. You download the app, it's right there, good to go, just buttons away. Nothing's really hidden. It's really easy, it really helps you, guide you along. Some of the other softwares, they hide things or give you all these different buttons and options and stuff like that. But iPhone makes it really easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when they make upgrades, it's not like a big change, it's still pretty consistent, so you still know how to use it, and it's still friendly and stuff like that, and I don't know, like with the songs and stuff, like you don't even have to plug it into your computer anymore, which I hated doing. You can just like load it all up to iCloud now and stuff like that. And I would hate trying to transfer that over to a different phone. So I guess that's why I've kept it for so long.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree with how easy it is to use, and also, I mean, there's really not too many things you can't do with an iPhone. I just love how you pretty much like pull something out of your pocket, and then you can just do whatever you want, from Googling stuff to watching videos to downloading apps, listening to music, whatever. And I also like how the camera quality and how fast it is now. Cause I have the iPhone 6 and it's like unbelievable.
One thing about them that I like is you can text from your laptop now, like through iMessage and like group messaging and all that. It's really easy to talk through different things.
I think my the way I look at my iPhone has really like changed from when I first got it, because I used it when I first got the iPhone for a very immature way to use it for games and base at the time, and honestly, but now I use it, I rely on my iPhone a lot more because I need it for email, and I'm in the journalism track, so it's helpful for me when I go to a media luncheon and I can tweet what people are saying, and I can record interviews on my phone, I can look facts up. It's just so much more mobile than having to go on a computer or anything else going by hand, God forbid, but I like it for a work standpoint, I guess.
So you, like you were saying, you start off a lot more entertainment focused, and now it's real help day to day.
Now I don't, the only entertainment I have on my phone now is really the sports apps that really keep me in touch with baseball games and football games and stuff like that, and even then that kind of relates back to my major, which is sports media, so even then it's more like work.
Alright. Well, you guys had a lot of good things to say about the iPhone. Gonna kind of turn the question around. What are some things that you don't like about the iPhone, or some things you'd like to change?
Well, I guess like they were saying earlier, I don't like how they, change stuff to get you, to buy a whole new setup. I'm trying to think of some other downsides, because I'm not really like tech savvy, so I like that it's really simple, and there's not really any downside to that on the iPhone.
I mean, if there's nothing you don't like about it, you don't have to make something up,
I just can't think of anything, so I don't have a lot that I don't like. I kind of think that they're programmed to start malfunctioning after a period of time, and I don't like that. And other than that, I'm pretty satisfied with everything about it. I do wish that they had more free storage available with iCloud, but that's it.
Okay.
The battery life could be longer. And yeah, if you don't like let it die for so long, it just starts getting weird, and like you don't get texts and just stuff like that. And yeah, more storage would be nice, but mine breaks a lot. It might be because of me, but I don't know. And I'm trying to think of something else that I could put in words. So
And I know there's the phone app, but that's always been kind of, I use my phone for being a phone a lot of the time, and so I miss the green call and in buttons where I could just call somebody and they wouldn't have to go through and try to find it. And then also the front speakers on them that are coming on other phones, that'd be kind of nice. So I use mine for videos a lot, and I have to like cup it and read it and stuff like that.
Okay.
Other than that, it's pretty decent.
I think I get kind of frustrated with like the iOS updates, and then it seems like apps that used to be working don't work anymore because
Mm.
they're up with like the new iOS stuff, which is kind of making me try to move on to the next iPhone or something too. Or just like, I don't want to download the iOS right when it comes out because it's always got bugs in it.
Mhm.
So that's pretty frustrating when things aren't working with it, I
Mm.
guess.
I mean, I don't have much I don't like, but I guess what mine would be how big they're starting to make them. It seems more like they started to follow like what has worked rather than being a leader and innovating and trying to figure it out and come up with new stuff.
I think my only things would be with any phone, doesn't matter who would make it, like battery life and storage. So I mean, other than that, I like it.
Mine's pretty consistent with everyone else's. Storage. I'm very back and forth on the durability because my phone is shattered right now, and I hate that they break so easily, but it's still working. It's been shattered for a year and a half, and it still functions like a normal phone. So, I mean, I appreciate that, but the only thing I really dislike about iPhones and maybe some Apple products is that they are more than willing to just leave you behind in the technology world. That they are just still moving and they don't really give everybody time to catch up. I mean, my contract ends in December to get a new phone, and I can go one up, but I don't want to be left behind and get the 5S. I want to get the new phone. So I guess that kind of has to go hand in hand. And that being said, price kind of goes along in with that. I'm going to pay $300 for a brand new phone, which sucks, but in the long run, I guess it kind of makes sense. But, and the price to fix the phone, it's like $90 to fix my phone when I can just wait another year and get it fixed. So maybe that's another issue, is how much it costs to repair a phone.
Right. To kind of piggyback on that last question, if you have one, go ahead and describe for us the most frustrating experience that you've had with your iPhone, and take us through kind of what was happening at the time and how it made you feel.
Mine's been fine. I haven't really had problems with it. I drop it a lot and it hasn't broken, so I'm happy. One thing that seems to happen pretty consistently with my phones, but this one is a couple weeks old, so it hasn't done it here yet, but is that it gets, like I said, after I've had it for about a year and a half, it starts malfunctioning a lot, and it will close apps within a few seconds of loading them, and so you can never actually do what you need to do. So you're like trying to read an article and it keeps closing and it will not stay up, and I feel angry.
Alright.
That's it.
Yeah. I had that same experience a lot. But here recently, for some reason, like, group messages aren't working. I'll just try to text a group and it'll just keep on sending me back the little red exclamation mark next to it or whatever saying. So it's been frustrating even now, so I don't know what's going on.
Probably the most frustrating thing that happens with mine is it always seems to slow down a lot more when I'm in a real hurry. Something really important is supposed to happen, I really need this to work, and then it goes really slow. And sometimes
Mine, actually, the iPhone that I had before this one's a replacement, but it just kept randomly going to like that Apple screen, like the black one with like the silver Apple thing. And it was like a really big hassle to get a new phone, because then you had to argue with the people at Apple, but you also had to argue with the people at the phone company too. And that's pretty frustrating that they don't really work together. Like you have to be the middleman between like the phone company and Apple. So I had to go like 2 different places. And that was pretty annoying. And like the group message thing, like mine's not working either, especially stuff with iMessage, and I don't know why, like it's not working.
I mean, I've only had mine for about a month, so I mean, I haven't really had anything that was pretty frustrating. I guess last night though, they had an update, so I was updating it and I hit upgrade. It gave me an option like upgrade my iCloud storage or something like that, so I clicked upgrade, and it froze and it just wouldn't do anything, and so I just went to sleep, and then I woke up the next morning and it was still frozen.
Mm.
And so that was kind of frustrating, I guess, but I just did a hard reset and then started working again. So I don't know what happened there, but.
My only frustrating things are caused for me like dropping in the toilet or dropping on the ground, so nothing to complain on their side.
Well, my phone fake dies. It doesn't actually die, it fake dies. It'll go from 50% to 2% and die. And then if I wait 10 minutes and turn it back on, it comes back on to 30%. And it does this consistently. He can vouch for me on it. And it's really, I mean, it is I've never been more frustrated with the phone than I am right now. Because it is so bad. I don't know if it has to do with my phone being completely destroyed or the fact that it's old and it's not updated, but that bothers me, along with the fact that if I plug it into my computer and I don't set up my iTunes account the right way, it can delete everything off my phone with a click of a button. And that's pictures, contacts, everything. That worries me.
Mm.
That stresses me out.
Okay. That stressed me out too. How many versions of the iPhone have you all purchased? And if you've purchased more than one, what was your reason for sticking with the iPhone when getting a new one?
I've just purchased this one.
What generation was that?
It's a 5S.
Okay.
Is the difference between like a 4 and a 4S considered a different version?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've had
Just Apple.
a 4S, and then I went to this 5S. And what was the second part of the question?
And when you were getting new phones, what made you choose to stick with the iPhone?
Oh.
Stay with it.
Basically all of the things that I use most on it, like the camera, email, and texting. And I don't know, I've tried to use Androids that other people have, and I absolutely hate them. So.
Okay.
I had the 4, and then I got the 5C. 5C is not bad, by the way. Compared to 5S, I don't know about much about 5S. But anyways, why did I stick with it? I mean, I had no problem with the iPhone. I have a Mac, and I just felt like I should be faithful and have an Apple product or both. I also heard things about like the other phones that with updates and upgrades, like you have to get a new phone or something like that. Like I've heard things like that, and so I didn't want to do that. And I didn't want to. I want to keep iTunes, and I didn't want to get another like media player of some sort. So.
Okay.
This is my first iPhone. I have iPhone 4, and I'm still rocking the iOS 7. I haven't updated it yet. But the reason I got the iPhone is because my first phone was an Android, and then my second phone was a Windows phone, so it's just like, I will try the iPhone.
So you've had experience with all of the major smartphones. With that in mind, what would you say? Are you still putting the iPhone above the other ones, or?
Yeah, for being a phone.
Okay.
Just because it's easy to use.
Okay.
I've actually had the 3G and the 4S, and now I have the 5S. And I just kept with it. I really didn't want to switch my iTunes over. And the phone company runs like a nifty deal. If you turn your old one in good condition, it pretty much pays for like the new one that's up next. If you wait a little bit, like not right when it comes out. So, I mean, free new iPhone. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I've had 3, and like I said earlier, I mean I've never had any problems, so figured I'd just stick with it. And also, I think Apple does a good job of getting me excited for what's to come in the newer generations.
I've had the 4S, then 5C, and back to the 4S because I broke it. And whenever like I'm eligible for an upgrade, I never think to get like a different type of phone. I only think of like an iPhone. So.
I've had the second generation iPhone, the 3G, the 4G, and I'm on the 5 right now. And in December, I will be able to get the 6. And I will never consider another product. I went through 3 other phones before I got my iPhone, and I think more or less when I was younger, I wanted to keep up with the iPhone because the iPhone was the cool thing. Everybody had it, and but realistically, I love the consistency of the product. I know it's a reliable product.
Okay. To kind of continue with that last question, if you were to switch to another phone, what would be the reason?
I don't know because I don't like changing things up and learning new software and stuff. Like I said, I'm not very tech savvy. So if I were to change to a different phone, it would probably be because I was already familiar with it. Like I knew someone who had it, and I knew how to work it, and it was like more efficient than iPhone, I guess. Probably the only thing that would make me change from an iPhone is the price. Because I know a lot of the other smartphones are a lot cheaper. So, I mean, so far, I've been getting with contracts and stuff, I've never paid more than $100 on a phone. So that's not a big deal, but if I ever had to go up higher than that, then I would probably switch phones.
I think I would change it because if my next upgrade came up and then get another phone, and my friends were saying, man, you gotta get this phone on my iPhone, but it's so much better. So like kind of a word of mouth thing. I trust my friends, and I probably kind of like, okay, I've had an iPhone for a long time. Let me try something different. I'm not afraid of trying something new. So that's probably number one reason. And price, if like iPhone just gets ridiculous, and fixing it and all that stuff, because that has been calculated into it. I'm poor. So.
I've got the phone and the iPad, and they work really well together, but it doesn't really work so well when I try to use my Microsoft desktop computer. Like it doesn't sync well unless I have iTunes, and it's a lot of different downloads. But I know the other phones, they work a lot better with like the file storage and the sharing between desktops. So that's the only reason I would switch, is because it works better with my other devices.
I think I would switch if like a competitor came out and they were just a lot better and more efficient with like technology and stuff, because I feel like the iPhone hasn't really changed like that much since it started out, and it's probably just a matter of time that another phone company like breaks through and makes like a completely new thing with a phone. So that would probably be the reason why I would switch over if that happens and it's not Apple that does it.
I don't really know. I guess in order for me to switch, it would have to be some other phone would have to overtake the iPhone as a bigger share in the market, I guess, to make me even consider wanting to switch. Yeah, that's really the only thing I can think of.
I would probably only switch if I got it for free, like for the rest of my life. So.
Honestly, iPhone would have to not be an option. That would be the only way I would consider it. Just because I'm, like I said before, it's a really just a reliable product, it's a consistent product, and I know what I'm paying for it is worth it. So, I mean, unless the price were to drastically change, and even then I'd just stick with the iPhone, I'd be sticking with just because I'm a creature of habit. But if iPhone were not an option anymore, because I'd have to switch.
Alright. I mean, some of you all obviously seem pretty loyal to the iPhone. So with that in mind, I'll give you the difficult challenge of, if you were in charge of a competitive smartphone brand, what features would you emphasize to try and one-up the iPhone?
I guess, you mean like the features on the phone or the features like in selling it?
Either one.
Well, I think price would definitely be a big thing. I think I would work to make a really reliable phone and like a durable phone, one that isn't gonna bug out or die. easily, that isn't so fragile like the iPhone. Yeah, I guess just more like it would last longer. I think the main things would be to change to have a better price and more storage. And I would probably let you shut the phone or turn the phone off while you're playing YouTube.
Like, do you mean like when YouTube's on,
Yeah,
I turn it off
it'll
and
keep
the
playing.
whatever's playing on YouTube?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a really good one. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. I don't know. I mean, you can say that do everything iPhone's already doing and then do something better. So, I think come up with some type of music player, like kind of like Spotify, but only for that specific iPhone. And then like instead of paying $5 a month, it's actually already in your contract of what you're buying. So you have all unlimited access of whatever songs you want. iTunes Radio is cool. You can only skip like 6 times, and like I skipped 6 times because I listen to those songs, and I have to listen to that song I'm on now. So I think music is I use iPhone for music a lot, I guess. I don't know, that's one thing.
I'd have to say that Apple works well with Apple, Microsoft works well with Microsoft. You know, so my thing, try to sell is just like connect with all your other devices, because not everybody's just gonna stick with Apple. I know we've talked about that, but just being able to branch out and connect with everything and everyone.
He stole mine. So. that's what I was gonna say.
I would say price, of course. That always helps. And then on top of that, I guess I would really hammer down that how important speed is, and just make speed so much better than the iPhone. Just because I mean, we live in an impatient world, so people don't want to wait around for things to load or stuff like that. Just waste their time. So that's the thing I would do.
Okay.
I would maybe have a phone that's compatible with everything iPhone or like Apple stuff, like Apple TV, iPads, all that, and then maybe something where you can like zoom. Like people, like the older generations have a hard time reading. Like my parents always try and zoom on everything, or like texting after to read something to them. So maybe if you could zoom, I don't know.
I think kind of what she was saying is I was gonna suggest maybe an even simpler product, because I'm a very simple person and so are my family and everything like that. So I guess maybe a product that was even simpler to use, that any generation, that a 3-year-old could pick up or a 77-year-old could pick up. It'd be easy for them to use, and definitely durability, because we all know that mine is shattered to bits.
Alright, now we're kind of gonna roll on to 2 questions at once, just because one of these you're gonna have to think about while we're answering the other one. The pictures in front of you guys, if you look at that and kind of the different facial expressions they have on there, as we're talking about the other question, if you look at it and try and figure out which 3 you would relate most to your experience with the iPhone, kind of what facial expressions you probably make while using it, whether it's frustration or happiness or whatever it be. So just be thinking about that while we answer this next question. Alright, so this is a fill in the blank. And just if you all would fill in the blank with the reason people use the iPhone is blank, and the reason people use the Android is blank. So just kind of, you think the top reason that people would use one or the other.
That's the one we're answering now?
Yeah, and then you're thinking about the picture one.
Well, I think the top reason that people use the iPhone is because it's familiar and popular. Everyone knows it. And the reason people use the Android is because it was one of the first, like, of the competition to sort of get its act together. So people are more familiar with it as far as competition goes. I think the main reason people use the iPhone is because it's cool, honestly. It kind of has the image of being the iPhone. And I think there are two reasons that people use Android. One is so that they can say they don't use Apple. Two, I hear people say all the time something about how, like, the data or something having to do with the hardware that I have no clue what they're talking about, but that's what everyone likes about it apparently, so.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a hard question. Second one I was just gonna say because everybody I know just want to say they don't have an Apple or they don't have an iPhone. Why do people use an iPhone? Main reason, just like because it's awesome. I don't know, man. I always think of my answer like when it gets on the other side, but it's too late. You have to say it's an answer.
I'd say the reason people use Apple products is because they already have Apple products. They've already bought a bunch of iTunes. They've already bought a bunch of store products, and they don't want to have to. That's a waste of money if you go with a different brand. And then the reason people would buy Androids is just because I would say price. A lot of the time, it's just a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
I think Apple just because, well, but just because they're familiar with it, like most people have just stuck with it, and that was the first smartphone to come out, so they've just really stuck with it, and because it's still popular, like everyone still has it, or not everyone, but a lot of people. And then Android, I mean, everyone I know, they hate Apple, so they want Android. And just a lot of more of like the tech-savvy people, I feel like, have Android too. Like they're more up with technology and stuff. They have Android.
So people go with the straightforward.
Yeah, and they're not afraid to try something new necessarily. Like they're ready to do stuff themselves and like that.
I think people have the iPhone just because it's popular, everybody has it, and the Android, they don't want Apple, and then they're just misguided.
I put iPhone for consistency across multiple products, and then Android because they want to be different, or they tried Apple and didn't like it.
Okay.
I think the reason why people use iPhone still is because it is innovative, it has been innovative, and it continues to be innovative and reliable. And I agree with everyone on what they said about Androids, but I think the main reason why people use Androids is because they're a cheaper alternative.
Okay. If you guys, as you would pick the 3 images on there that most represent Apple to you, and circle them, and then pass the pen to somebody who hasn't done that yet. We're going to finish up with our last question, which is we're going to ask you to finish the sentence. That the type of people who are most likely not to use an iPhone are ...
Hipsters. Just kidding, they love iPhone. I would agree with like the, people who like to customize their phones and, put their own features on, maybe use it for programming and gaming and all sorts of different stuff. They like the advanced features. People who don't like just a phone. I completely forgot the question.
Would you complete the sentence? People who are most likely not to use an iPhone are...
Yeah, basically what Emma said, people who want to change things up. And I would definitely say people who aren't concerned with image probably don't care that they don't have an Apple product, so.
People who are not,
Yeah.
most likely not going to use.
Yeah, that type of person, who would that be?
I would say, Like within the 17 to 24? Okay, because I'm thinking my grandma. It's too complex for her, but any type of smartphone is, so.
So probably 18 to 24 then.
Okay, well, she said yeah, as long as 824. Probably people who maybe don't even have a high school education.
Okay, that's fair. Maybe not.
Most likely not to use it, probably people not really concerned with status. You know, they're just gonna buy a phone and use a phone. Not to say, oh, I have an iPhone, I spent $700 on it.
Yeah, people are like concerned with price, or if
I guess I'd have to say, I mean, status was a good one for sure. And I guess people living paycheck to paycheck, it's too expensive. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay.
I think the only people that use Android are people who don't like Apple. Like, I don't think they go out and buy an